Ready or not, here I come. Mm-hmm. Stay in the center. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you can hear me well. I hope this network is not disappointing. You're welcome to Inspiration Gist with Dora. Today, we are going to talk about this matter. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time that I've been here. I've been live. A long time. So, you're welcome. I want to see whether my friends are still there. My friends are still there. Welcome to Inspiration Gist with Dora. I don't know what is happening to this app. I don't know what is happening, but I'm gonna check. Welcome, 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 welcome. You are highly welcome. You are welcome in the name. Welcome to Inspiration Gist with Dora. I don't want to talk about this alone. I think it's high time we gather here to discuss this matter. You and I. So I'm waiting for you. Once you join, we start. Yes, so my correct people, where are you? It's been a while that Dora went live. Oh, hey, see what has happened to me and my people. Oh, see what has happened to me and my people. See what has happened. Ah, it is well. It is well with my soul. It is well with Nigeria. It is well. It is well with Nigeria. It is well with Nigeria. It is well with Nigeria. It is well. It is well with Nigeria. My correct people. I'm here. Oh. I am here. Oh. I am here. Oh. I don't know what to do. Let me see whether this thing is part of what is causing my problem. Yes, so you are welcome. I am here waiting for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to just leave your comments. I want to know who is joining me. My first audience since how many months? Oh my God, please don't leave. Please don't leave. Let's talk about this country because it is either now or never. It's either now or never. Please welcome. It's either now or never. You see the issue of Nigeria. If it's either now or never. As you can see the caption, we have on board today DJ Switch. We have on board Onyeka Onwenu. And then we have on board the prayer team for Nigeria. Matters are rising. You have to be here. You have to be here to trash this matter. So I can't do much except you join me because it is your reason. You are the reason I'm here. You are the reason I'm here. I'm not here. If it were just an ordinary video, I would have just talked, spoken to the camera, and boom, I post. But I want someone to be part of this conversation live. I want someone to be part of this conversation live and direct. So that's why I am waiting for you to join me before I say what I start. Because once I start, if you join at the middle, you may not understand. So where are you? If you come, you don't need to go back. Come, you stay here. Stay here. Let's talk about Niger. Let's talk about Niger. Let's talk about Nigeria. Let's talk about Nigeria. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Okay. So, thank you so much for joining me. Please don't leave because this matter we are going to trash today is very important. Oh, and you know what? There's something about this life. If you're not there when decisions are taken, decisions that will affect you as a human being, that will affect your society, we always do, I don't care. What are they talking about? Which one is my own? Before you know it, decisions that will affect you, affect your future generation will be sealed. So that's why I want to consider a lot of things in this life. I want us to consider a lot of things. This life is loaded. You're going to be patient with me, and then um be patient with me so that we'll start. Okay, let's see. Please share this video, share this live so that more people will join. I'm bringing on board DJ Switch. I'm bringing on board, of course, our late mom Onyeka Onwenu with all the legacy she left behind. And we're going to trash out today the issue of praying for Nigeria. We are going to trash it out today in this watch, okay? So please bear with us. Bear with me this evening. I am waiting for others. Share so that others will join us, okay? Yes. All right. Where are others? So now I'm going to start. Please say me hi. Say hi and drop your comments in the comment section, okay? Say hi. Let me know where you are joining from. Okay. Um Now let me start. I was strolling somewhere. Okay, you know this social media, sometimes you just sit down and when you want to relax, you stroll. Okay. So as I was just walking, passing by, in fact, it was actually the issue of the protest that triggered the whole thing. You have some expectations here and there, reactions here and there, and all that. So we've been talking about that, right? We've been talking about the protest, the church, the need for the church to get back on its seat, sit tight, go back to its position before it becomes irrelevant in Nigeria and in the society. Elsewhere in the world, don't forget that some people don't consider the church as important, as vital anymore. You see, so you see churches are being turned to mosques, are being turned to nightclubs. People don't go to church. It's no more important. And with the way things are going in Nigeria right now, majority of our youth are no more interested in the church. The reason because they find it's not solving their problem, it's not contributing maybe positively. They're not seeing the need anymore, okay? Or they are being betrayed. They don't get the support they think they should get from the church. So it was during the protests that DJ Switch made a post. You know DJ Switch? If you don't know her, she's one of very important, very powerful activist, very influential. She's an entertainer, a comedian. She has all been in this profession before 2020. During the NSAS, she played a vital role, and after the NSAS, she became a wanted citizen. Okay, and then she had to just go somewhere to cool down. But she's still someone that is so passionate about seeing Nigeria change, seeing things, change for the better, seeing a better future, seeing one Nigeria. By the way, DJ Switch, her real name is Obianuju. She should be from the southeast of the southeastern part of the country. Okay, so during the protest, she made a post, and that post attracted a lot of reactions. Nigeria. If you don't want a problem with Nigerians, if you don't want problems, stay away from their pastors, stay away from their daddy geos. Hey, my God, the way our people practice religion. So this lady actually wrote, I'm not going to go into reading the whole thing again because I have read it verbatim in my other videos. So you can go there and watch it. But the summary, she alleged, or she was indicting the Redeemed Christian Church of God. In that a write-up, she said the Redeemed Christian Church of God is another religious arm of the APC administration, APC party, or Progressive Party, or Progressive, yeah, Congress, APC, the political party. So she said that church, that church is another arm of the APC. And so this triggered a lot of reaction from different quarters. According to her, because she made that post because she felt that the APC has some prominent members who are their church members who are already also in the APC, and this administration, with everything that is happening, nobody has spoken out, especially their leader, Baba Adeboye, because we could remember in the time of Buhari, people started publishing a lot of which I'm going to show you. Okay, so I just want to read out reactions from that her post, and then we go to how Onyeka come in, because I mentioned Onyeka Onwenu. I'm going to bring Onyeka Onwenu into this picture, but before then, because that is what actually it was, as I was trying to reflect on the reactions, okay, from DJ's post, DJ Switch post, that it prompted, okay, that I got this prompt to think about what Onyeka Onwenu said in her, in so many of her speech, so many opportunities she had to address the issue of Nigeria, what she had said. And I went on to research to see, just to find out, watch her things. And then I stumbled upon a very important documentary, which I think that every Nigerian must watch. That's why I said it's a must watch. Every Nigerian must try and watch this. Now, before I go to that, let me go to DJ Switch and pull out reactions where Nigerians are flogging her. Flogging her for daring talking about their daddy Gio, speaking in that line, okay, in that light against him. Now, after the post, I'm just going to, like I said, I've summarized the whole thing. I put it up in my previous video. I've summarized it. Now I'm just going to go straight and read out all the reactions, okay, all the reactions of DJ Switch. She said at the end of that, in fact, okay, let me just read it for those who are watching this for the very first time. She said, if by now you still don't believe that RCCG is a useless political wing of this useless APC, I am reading from her her post, then I really don't know what to tell you. Welcome. One day, I hope Nigerians will find for themselves what they are looking for in churches. Please. And she went on to say, your blessings are in the policies of your country. Please listen very well, because I will need you. I will need you to react here too. Okay? Let's rub minds together. Let's not be sentimental about this. Just be objective. Let's rub minds together. She said, your blessings are in the policy of your country, state, local government, and not, etc., and not in the church or your pastor. Your general safety is in the efficiency of your protection services and not in the church. Your progress is in the availability of employment and access to finance to build businesses and not in the church. And one more, your potential for growing wealth is in your ability to understand how money works and investing that money in order for that money to work for you and not in sowing seeds or tithes. Unfortunately, many of you will be lifetime cast in the smash heat, living in bondage. If you want to touch Nigerians, say, where e dey, where it will just trigger reaction. If you want to touch Nigerians, talk about their tribe, talk about their church. Hey, if you are just talking about Nigeria, saying anything Nigeria this, talking about health, talking about education, talk about politicians, many people will just ignore you. But don't even talk about, just mention, Hausa people, redeemed people, or Christian. Just mention, you this church, hey, or man of God. Call their man of God. Just say anything bad. So there's some people that we are so obvious. Yet come and see people defending them. So you see, this thing just triggered a Cain for DJ Switch. They brought Cain to flog her. This person said, um, okay, I'll read some who were, okay, trying to flog her, like I said, flog her very, very well. Um, Okay, this person says, definitely wrong. Please, I don't want us to just be sitting on the fence here. I don't want to don't just be a don't be passive here. I want you to think as I'm reading it. Please drop your comments, okay? You say, definitely wrong. My blessings are not in the policies of any government. I'm a Christian and I know much more than to think that my blessing is attached to the government. How did Israel prosper in Egypt? Same Egyptians were either dying or getting sick or impoverished. So this person is obviously not in agreement with DJ Switch. His blessing is not on how well the government, the policies, his blessing is from God. Okay. This one says, unfortunately, a carnal man cannot understand the things of the spirit because they are spiritually the same. What you don't know, you don't know. Moreover, try to keep your options to yourself. If your ideology works for you, that doesn't mean that another is useless. Your blessings are in the policies of your country, states, local government, and not in the church and your pastor. This couldn't be more true. Someone is agreeing with her. See how malnourished you're looking. That somebody went to pull her picture from somewhere and started abusing her. You see how malnourished you're looking. You better go and take care of your health. Mrs. 77 Cops at the toll gate. Onikure. Hey, look at a fellow Nigerian, you see, is calling her names, even with reference to the role she played at Lekki Tollgate in 2020, in October 2020, during the NSAS. A fellow Nigerian. This girl almost lost her life, or this lady almost lost her life because she was trying to, be part of this group of people that came out and were demanding for an end to police brutality and so many other things, okay, that comes with bad governance. Someone, a fellow Nigerian, see, in fact, I just wish you will stay and drop your opinion. You see why if anybody would come out to die for Nigeria, just listen. If no one else, even if it's another person, who in Nigeria doesn't know the role that DJ Switch played in 2020? Someone is calling her name, even referring her, giving her a name. Okay? Hey. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then this person says, that's true, your prayer is useless in the face of good governance. People don't understand that somewhere elsewhere, okay, in the world, people don't understand that elsewhere in the world, you don't need to, there are some prayer points that are not relevant anymore. There are some preaching that are not relevant anymore somewhere in the world. For example, if you go to America now, in the UK, and someone is looking for a job, and you tell the person that it is his uncle in the village that is, all those theories of village people, they are not relevant here because people, there are so many prayer points. Even in Niger, you want to have you have a occasion, right? You see people praying for power supply, that there will be steady power supply. Let me not go there because that's not why I'm here. But there is truth in that. If the government will take care of their responsibility and provide basic amenities, I can assure you there are so many prayer points that will no more be relevant. Then this person agrees with her and says, what I don't understand is why pastors are looking more healthy and wealthy than an average church member. The ones that are pray more or the poorest tell us a lot. The ones that pray more. And this person said, this is how they gaslight Northerners into destruction, using social media to push hatred to everyone. You see how people reason? As a Christian, it is important to know that prayer is a way of communicating with God. However, we must hold our leaders accountable because manna doesn't fall from heaven in Nigeria. Again, DJ Switch is right. Church leaders only protest if government policies are going against going are going against directly to affect church finances. So, my dear, so when I saw the reactions, so many reactions, the thing is so much. So many reactions about against this lady, so many reactions, in protest of her write-up. Like I said, I decided to think further about what I've heard from Onyeka, and I ran into this important documentary I want you to be part of. And after listening or watching this documentary, you can just decide for yourself whether praying for Nigeria is not a waste of time. For me, okay, prayer does a lot. You can't do without prayer. Prayer is the key. Whether you're taking action or you're not taking action, you still need prayer. But for someone to see clearly, you see, to see clearly a solution to a problem. Okay, and even you have some, Bible verses to collaborate that this is the problem of these people, and you're still looking for prayer point to solve the problem. I'm going to allow you to watch this documentary and I will come back to say, in fact, I will be talking intermittently because it's a long one. Okay, so let's watch this. Documentary was
no matter whoever may be involved.
In the early hours of December 31st,
so this documentary
1983, a well-organized military coup under the
was compiled by Onyeka in 1984. This documentary was compiled by Onyeka in 1984. Please listen for yourself because ignorance, you see, is a big time disease. Big time disease. Excuse me. In the Bible, you see some people that have prayed prayer that changed the hands of time in their generation. They have certain information. You have someone like Daniel. He prayed. The children of Israel were in exile, they were in captivity. But he was studying the Bible and he discovered that this is the time to do this. And he prayed. And after prayer, there was prompt for an action, which Nehemiah took. Okay, and someone had to take action. So please, and so many other times, Esther had to pray. After praying, there was prompt for action. She had to take a physical action, and so many other examples. So I want you to listen, watch this documentary very well, and then after that, you may still continue to just pray for Nigeria, or you're going to ask that the right thing be done.
The leadership of Major General Buhari took place in Nigeria. It was not unwelcome by most of our people, and it was not unexpected. Our economy was in a mess, and yet we are not only the biggest country in Black Africa, we are, or should be, one of the richest.
Abuse of public office for self or group aggrandizement, which had assumed debilitating proportions in the last few years, will be dealt with ruthlessly, no matter whoever may be involved.
In the early hours of December 31st, 1983, a well-organized military coup under the leadership of Major General Buhari took place in Nigeria. It was not unwelcome by most of our people, and it was not unexpected. Our economy was in a mess, and yet we are not only the biggest country in Black Africa, we are, or should be, one of the richest.
As way back as 1984, Nigeria was the richest, the biggest country in um, in Black Africa. Now, the title of this documentary is Nigeria is Squandering of Riches. So I just want to guide you so you can understand. Nigeria is squandering of riches. You have to understand where we're coming from. You have to understand what has put us in this position. So you'll be able to understand very well and know the kind of prayer points you'll be praying if you want to continue praying for Nigeria. So you pray the right prayer. Don't forget the Bible says the reason why some of our prayers are not answered is because we pray amiss, pray in ignorance. If you don't pray, okay, the right prayer, your prayer will not be answered. Because I've started asking myself for over since I was born, and now I am getting old. I have been praying for Nigeria since I was a child. So, I'm not saying that prayer is useless, but I think perhaps we need to change the prayer points. Okay, that's what I think. So, let's continue watching. By the way, this documentary was put forward by Onwenu, delivered by Onwenu. Do you know that Onwenu was a journalist also? I never knew. So, learn with me.
My name is Onyeka Onwenu. A few weeks before the coup, the BBC and Nigerian television asked me to report as a Nigerian television journalist on the situation in my country. Recently, like many Nigerians, I've felt frustrated and saddened by what has happened to us. We've had our independence for more than 20 years. By third world standards, we have a well-educated elite. We had a productive farming economy. We have minerals. And we discovered a few years ago that we had oil, a lot of oil. Yet today we're importing food that we should be growing. We are a bankrupt nation, and we have an international reputation for large-scale corruption. Many of our people are unhappy, and some even hungry. What is
Way back in 1984, this documentary was put forward in 1984. Way back then, we have an international reputation for corruption. Hey, God forbid.
gone wrong? This is what I set out to explore. We sensed that change had to come to our nation, that our people wouldn't continue to accept the inefficient, corrupt civilian government of President Shagari. We were right. Before this film was completed, the coup took place. So our report, instead of being a prophecy, is now an explanation as to why the majority of my people, most of whom know what democracy is about and want it ultimately, welcomed yet another military takeover. I'm not a politician. I'm not an economist. The story I have to tell is a personal one about my hopes and fears for my country. Apart from journalism, I'm a singer. And I suppose this more than anything is my way of communicating my feelings. Yeah, I like that.
So Onyeka Onwenu has been passionate about Nigeria and its developments. She has been. Look at how young she's looking here. You can imagine how young. This is way back in the 80s. And this lady, she said it is her personal story. She just went out to, find a solution to the corruption, to the problem of Nigeria. Nigeria, a country with so many riches, apart from the agricultural produce. Now, oil, as at that time, oil was just discovered. And so what happened? What happened? Why people are still suffering, people are poor, and so many things. So she's embarking on this tour to discover why corruption, why. This is 1984. Please listen.
Go have a bag. Can we see? Hey, move.
Lagos is now the most expensive city in the world. It is also one of the most uncomfortable, with its traffic jams, lack of running water, constant power cuts, and the mountains of rubbish in the streets.
I mean, to live in Lagos is to live in the war front. I mean, really, I don't know how anybody can live day after day in that chaotic situation. To live in any of our cities is to wage war against filth.
We just don't seem to be coping with modernity.
There's been a kind of brutalization of life, of values, of man's attitude to man. This so-called rat race to acquire, to consume, to be the next man, that's the acquisition of junks and so on, has created a society that is no longer sure of itself or where it is going.
I would agree that the country...
What did the other person say? He said, and I quote, "This desire to keep acquiring and acquiring, okay, has created a society where people no longer feel, oh my goodness, the desire to keep acquiring and keep acquiring. That's why at this time and era, one man was said to have, to say trillion was recovered from one man. Is it? No, I can't remember how they pronounce it because it's more than trillion. So you see, the society, the desire to keep acquiring and acquiring. Oh my God, this report, this documentary was so far back as 1984 by Onyeka Onwenu.
The country has gone through a state of moral decadence. It's not only at the top, but also at the bottom. I believe that the society needs a little bit of purification.
What people in the street feel is told by the blind singer, Kokoro. His improvisations have always been about the everyday hardships of life. Today, he sings about the meanness and the ugliness of what Lagos has become. And he's right. But this is no reflection of traditional Nigeria. In our villages, the home is still cherished and cared for. After all, it's not as if we're a people without aesthetic values. What has happened to us since our independence? That was 24 years ago, and I had just started school. I remember how proud we were made to feel about it. Nigeria finally had a chance to govern herself. There were high hopes of making it a one united and prosperous nation, but nothing quite prepared us for the difficulties that were to follow. There we were, a nation of so many nations, culturally diverse and thrown together without our consent. In 1967, after a succession of coups,
I want to highlight this sentence. We're a country of many nations with cultural diversity brought together without our consent. And you need to be noting some key, messages in this report. We have seen the other one, the society where people keep acquiring and acquiring and acquiring. Now we have seen a nation that was put together, nation with much multicultural diversity that was brought together without their consent. Let's keep going.
and Biafra's attempt to break away from the Republic, Nigeria was pitched into a bitter civil war. At the time, I was a girl of 14, an Igbo on the Biafra side. I helped out in hospitals treating people with malnutrition. I will always carry with me the pain and suffering that I saw around me. It took 3 years before that conflict was resolved. In the great spirit of reconciliation, largely initiated by General Yakubu Gowon, the then head of state, Nigeria became one again. But the end of the war did not mean the end of military government. During the next 8 years, Nigeria was ruled by 3 military governments, giving us altogether 13 years of military rule since independence.
Be faithful and bear true.
It was only 4 years ago that we got another chance to elect our leaders. So at the age of 27, I had my first chance to vote. Disenchantment soon set in as government officials scrambled for the prizes of office. Corruption was both blatant and pervasive. In the midst of a declining oil economy, individuals made millions. Some, it is rumored, billions, safely tucked away in foreign banks. Prices of basic goods shot up, while our currency, the naira, on the flourishing black market fell to 1/5 of its official level.
As far back as this time, people were stocking wealth in the foreign banks, which led to the depreciation of naira. Did you hear that? People pack our wealth, they steal from oil. As far back as then, you're talking about, depreciation of oil, no, the oil is just trying to dry up or something, and then people started gathering, and then they go and invest in a foreign land. They never had faith in Nigeria. They never cared about building here. They never cared about investing in their country, in the country they rule. Leaders from then, as far back as 1984, when this documentary was aired, were already harnessing wealth, stealing, and going to invest in foreign land. And that is why Naira had to fall. What is happening today? Has anything changed?
What it meant to ordinary people could be seen in those few weeks before the coup.
I don't buy before from you.
I sometimes go to Jankara Market to buy cloth. Here you can really feel the pulse of the people.
Why not see me for I they come. I just want to see. You come back. I they come back. You come back. Finish with you. I never to be you get my thought?
It's not unusual for these women to grab their customers, but nowadays there's a sudden desperation about it.
Okay.
A desperation that I've felt building up for some time.
Make I see something.
I just don't see how people cope. You can see they're not coping. You walk down the streets and you see kids and they look like they're malnourished. Sometimes my flatmate Tina and I have friends over, and usually the conversation comes around to politics. I've noticed a fundamental change in people's attitude. Nigerians are no longer blaming the colonial powers for our problems. Now we direct our anger at our leaders.
They know that it's wrong. They can see what's happening. They know lots of people are starving, but they want the money for themselves. They're not interested in how we live tomorrow. When they leave, our generation is going to have to clean up the mess. They're not interested in that. It's take now what you can, while you can.
I think it's such a big problem that you look at it and some people feel, well, where do you start?
You start by not taking money out of the country. They keep embezzling money and putting them in foreign banks and saving up for the rainy day. So if you're so self-centered that you don't care about what's going on around you, how can you find solutions?
So as far back as this time, Onyeka Onwenu was trying to create awareness. Onyeka Onwenu was trying to, see this documentary, she conducted interviews, you see how she interviewed the younger people, trying to create awareness, trying to tell them that these leaders, look at what they are doing. You need to be aware of what is happening around you. You need to speak out. If not, a time will come. These leaders don't care. They are saving money for themselves, for their future generations, in case of a rainy day. Okay, as far back as 1984, this lady was carrying out this research, this campaign that Nigerians should hold their leaders accountable for what is happening. What has happened since then? Because we have a wrong mindset. Okay, what has happened since 1984 when this documentary was aired? Please continue watching with me. I have several questions that are begging for answer, and I can't answer them. That's why I'm bringing this here, so that you join me in the comment section by at least saying one or two things that you know. Because for me, this is 1984. 1984 is over 40 years now, right? It's over 40 years. And then the same trend, nothing has changed. Leaders pack up, harness wealth, and go and invest it in a foreign country. And they will be waiting for when things will get so bad in Nigeria so that they will pack their load and move away, right? This is exactly how it was in 1984, before 1984, when this documentary was aired. Is this still happening? What's the solution? Let's see.
The dividing line between legitimate business activity and what in anybody's language can only be called corruption is not always easy to define in modern Nigeria. Before the coup, this businessman was one of many who enjoyed a considerable degree of political patronage.
Listen, I see the root of Nigeria problem. It's not only on our leaders, okay, but also the Nigerian citizen, the Nigerianness. Just watch this place actually cut me to the marrows.
It is not uncommon for influential Nigerians to have serving soldiers guarding their private homes.
Hmm. As at then, you have soldiers guarding their private homes. Till now, the same trend. What has changed? You see, instead of deploying security agencies to go and secure the nation, secure property, secure people, secure the public, secure the masses, no, they rather deploy security agencies to secure their private homes. This is as far back as 1984. And it's still happening today. We are still the same place. Okay.
This Rolls Royce is one of two that he owns, along with 6 other vehicles. He operates a number of factories, which, like so many others in Nigeria, depend on raw materials. But since the economy has declined, business concerns like his, which operate in planning, textiles and the like, have found it more difficult to pay their way. But the lifestyle of those in charge hasn't changed in the slightest.
Sally, Salu, you come and allow some soft drink. Let me drink you. I love dogs, I love it
Yeah.
very much. And it's very good.
He's been very good.
But very, very jealous.
Yes.
Even if I ride a horse, you know,
Yeah.
keep on.
He was very good.
Among this man's other assets are 2 luxury jets, which cost £1 million a year simply to maintain. And thrown in for good measure are 2 German pilots and a flight attendant. In spite of our disintegrating economy, the number of private jets among Nigerian businessmen has increased. So where has the money to finance this fantastic wealth come from? It sounds bitter, I know, but I think we should be asking these questions.
As far back as then, individuals that have private jets said they were on the increase. This buoyant lifestyle, this flamboyant lifestyle, where is the money with which they are financing it? She's asking. She has been curious as a young lady. You saw you saw her even recently at her old age. Before she passed on, you saw her, she was shedding tears for Nigeria. This is her in the days of her youth, trying to figure out, trying to unravel the mystery of the Nigerian problem. And then this is a question. Where do they get the money to service this flamboyant lifestyle? Where? Okay?
After all, it's up to us Nigerians to make the economy work for all of us. Chief Asabia, Managing Director of the First Bank of Nigeria.
This economy here is 90% in Nigerian hands, and it's run by us, and we must accept responsibility for the way it runs or doesn't run. Share ownership of the major industries are all Nigerian now, or 60-65% Nigerian. Not to mention the fixed assets, which is fully Nigerian anyway. So there is no excuse for blaming anyone except Nigerians for what goes wrong.
There is no excuse for blaming anyone except Nigerians. Nigerians who have refused to face the reality. God blessed us with so many things, so many resources, but no, some just few individuals just popped up from somewhere and decided to hold this country hostage. And all we do is to praise them. And you see, all we do is oh my goodness. Instead of holding our leaders accountable, we just resign and say we are praying. Let's keep praying.
And with our oil, neither can we excuse ourselves like some other third world countries with the fact that we're undercapitalized. Nigeria is a member of OPEC. Fly over the Niger Delta area and you will see everywhere the signs of oil development, both offshore and on land. In the short space of 10 years, the country's income from oil increased 45 times. At the end of 1980, it represented over 90% of Nigeria's foreign earnings.
Oil has helped us enormously. I think it has been an unqualified success for Nigeria in many ways. I'm not talking about the management of resources now. I'm talking about what it has done in absolute terms. It's changed the whole place. It's changed our own image of ourselves, our image of the external world. Everything has changed around us in the last 20 years since we had oil.
Undoubtedly, oil has brought development. There are everywhere visible signs of this. Motorways, international airports, new universities. With the present world recession, the demand for oil has fallen. Nigeria's oil revenues are now less than half of what they were 4 years ago. Our politicians have used this to suggest that our economic ills are beyond our control. This is partly true, but a lot of us believe that it is much more due to gross mismanagement of the economy.
So I cannot.
As at then, oh my goodness. 1984, the decline in demand for oil was already there. The decline in demand for oil was already there. And our leaders just started complaining. Our leaders started complaining that there's no more money from oil. We don't have enough money to finance projects. They already started complaining. Now, God, oh God, a country that has no bearing. So even as far back as 1984, there was also already a decline in the demand for oil. Excuse me, a government that is futuristic, a government, a country that, God, would have seen that in the next 10, 20 years, this decline is going to continue. And would they not have done something with the money they got from oil? No, 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 no. It is not Nigerian leaders, okay? They rather, the little they have harnessed, they will carry it and save it in a foreign country. Because they know there will be a time, there will no more, there won't be much money from oil anymore. So this happened like, as at the time Onyeka was compiling this report, this documentary, she's saying 20 years ago, 10 years ago, that is when the development started. Before she decided to go into this search, to this research, to find out the reason why there is bad, where there is economic crisis as far back as 1984. And this documentary seems as if it's today, the same issue. Mismanagement, gross mismanagement. Nigerians, wake up. Wake up. God has done what he can do for us by giving us all the resources. Okay.
Only quote the governor of the Bank of England during one of his visits to Nigeria. He said it is easier to manage poverty than to manage affluence. The sort of newfound wealth in oil has brought in its trail a number of social problems. We have graft and corruption, inefficiency, because money is easily made.
How easily can be seen if you drive through the plush parts of Lagos, Ikoyi and Victoria Island. Party stalwarts rewarded with even a small plot of land here are made for life.
As a banker, I couldn't possibly refuse a loan to someone who comes along and wants to build a house in Victoria Island to let to some company or some rich firm. The truth of the matter is that 3-4 years ago, he would have built that house for approximately 100,000 naira, 150,000 naira. He will get 50,000 naira by way of rent in a year, and he will get a minimum of 4 or 5 years rent in advance. So with the first lot of payment, it's clear this, loans and advances, is paid the interest on it, and it's still, substantially in hand. He can start another house, or he can buy himself, a holiday house in Knightsbridge. This is it's typical.
And in the last many years, you often heard, before the crisis came, you often heard the government officials saying money is no object. So what happened is that the kind of discipline for planning which was required in government was dispensed with.
At the Abara Industrial Estate, just outside Lagos, you see what this has meant for industry in increased production costs. The Metal Box Toyo Glass Company is in the business of making bottles for beer and soft drinks. To be able to operate, it has had to set up its own radio link because of the inadequacy of our public telephone system. To generate electricity, it has had to build its own power station and also install its own water supply. The international implications of this are explained by the company's chairman, Chief Chris Ogubanjo.
Deriving from this is the fact that whenever going to be able to produce as cheaply as those people who produce the same products overseas.
Chief
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? The company had to try to generate its own electricity. The company had to try to generate its own water supply. And this man is saying the consequences, we won't be able to produce at a cheap rate, compared to other countries overseas. You know what baffles me? What baffles me is that this is still the same situation today. And these companies you see in this documentary, they are no more in Nigeria, they have left. So the cycle has been repeating itself. They are the ones who produce their own electricity in order for their factory to run. They are the ones that will produce their own water supply in order for them to have water for production or to run their business, to run their production. This is 1984. So you see, when you hear that there was some time in Nigeria when you had so and so company, when you had so and so company, and the companies packed up. We have so many companies, Anamco, um, Volkswagen, Peugeot. I remember when Peugeot was manufacturing or assembling in Enugu. This is what how China started, from trying to produce other companies, foreign companies going to China to be able to have cheaper labor. They start either assembling in China, then the Chinese had to learn from them. And before you knew it, they had Chinese companies that are into the same production. And today, Chinese products are proudly everywhere. Now, couldn't have Nigeria taking the same trend? Like, we had Volkswagen here in Nigeria, we had so many companies, of which today what you would have expected if there was good management is for Nigeria to have its own local company, okay, now producing those things. That is how industrialization starts. That is how those kind of development happens to a nation. But no, we've had this set of leaders all the way from the independence. Remember, the first coup was because of corruption. The first coup of 19 the coup that later finally led to the civil war was organized by a set of young soldiers who were so passionate about Nigeria and who saw the corruption as early as Nigeria gained its independence in 1960, and as at 1966, just 6 years, the corrupt practices were so obvious that these leaders, these young people, could not bear it. They had to take over the government through the coup from the set of greedy leaders that greeted us, okay, from independence. You see? Now, I want you to, as you follow this documentary, to see if we have actually made any progress, so that when you see where our problem lies, you that God will provide for you the way He provided for the children of Israel when they were in Egypt, and those people who are dying of hunger, God provided for them. Are you in the same situation? Is your situation, your scenario, is it the same thing with that of the children of Israel those days? Is it the same thing? Is it not selfish of you? Is it not self-centeredness that you don't think, you don't care about the future generation, about the posterity? You don't care. You just want God to settle you. No, now that's selfishness. You just pray that God will just settle you and your family. And those who are suffering should continue suffering. Doesn't matter. That's why you are praying that God, in the midst of this, settle me. Your prayer point, God settle me. You don't care that the system be fixed. You don't care. You just want God to give you your own in your hand, and that's all. You don't care about tomorrow. No, now that's a wrong prayer. That is a wrong prayer for me. Okay? Maybe that's why we've been going round and round, round and round. Oh my goodness. Ah, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Let's keep watching.
Sabia indicates another problem with this.
This is the kind of economy in which you're going to be better off trading than in producing anything, unfortunately. Um, for example, if you are to set up trade importing rice or importing frozen chicken about a year ago, you will do much better than somebody who tries to grow chicken or grow rice in the back of his compound. People are not stupid. He's not going to try to grow it if he can make more money, by importing it.
In order to check this trend and so help local industry like the metal.
Now listen to me. Listen to this analysis. If I'm going to grow poultry, okay, locally, it's going to cost me more money because I am going to provide. Remember where we're coming from. I'm going to provide my electricity by myself to keep my factory or my farm operative. I'm going to provide my own water supply, and the road leading to my factory, I have to take care of it. I have to ensure that it is motorable. So by the time I spend all this money, the cost of production increases, okay, gets high, very high for me. And just a stone throw, okay, just few miles away, someone produces the same thing at a very cheaper rate because its government has taken care of all the things that were my problem: security, production of water, good road, electricity. The government took care of it, and all the company needed to do was just to go into production, right? And so when they produce, the cost of production is reduced. And now you compare, because we are got to the era of globalization where the world is a global village, right? So you can buy from different countries, international trade. So if I go to China and bring it at the rate of 50 naira, and that's the landing cost, and the production cost in Nigeria is 100 naira. At least I can sell it 80 naira, or I can even sell it 150 naira because it's foreign. And then the one who is producing in Naira can sell it about 100 naira. And so if the foreign one, of course, you even compare the quality of the, talk about the quality because industrialization has advanced in those countries. So you won't even compare the quality. At the end of the day, the quality is higher, the cost is cheaper, and you expect me to buy. Why would a businessman, stress himself in that kind of competition? He rather channel that money to importation. And that, my dear fellow Nigerians, is how we landed ourselves as an economy that is based on importation. It is over 80% based on importation. That is exactly how it all started. Has it stopped? Has anything changed? I leave you to answer that question. Okay. And this documentary, like I say, is so um is so long. And I'm going to take a few more clips. I think we need to continue this conversation tomorrow. But let me take a few more clips before I draw the curtain for today. Because
Boxbow Gas Company, the government drastically restricted the granting of import licenses, but it backfired.
Why? Partly because licenses are sometimes given to people who have no connection with the trade.
Most Nigerians are aware of this. It is not only the subject of press attention and party gossip, but also a popular subject of satirical drama.
I want you to make it bigger, robust.
Here at the Peck Theatre in Lagos, there's a rehearsal of a new play that explains the problems a businessman suffers when he tries to obtain an import license.
Have you been to the ministry lately?
I have several times. But the ministry.
a businessman, oh gosh, see where our problem is. Anyway, we are a set of corrupt people. And it's the same people that we send to governments.
the government house. Listen to this. Watch this drama and see what will happen here. A businessman that wants to acquire license for importation.
Minister keeps referring me to the permanent secretary, who keeps referring me to the task force in charge of import licenses, who keeps asking me to come back every week. Yes, come in.
Are you Chief Ayoko of Ayoko Motors?
Yes, I am.
Excuse me.
They told me at the ministry about you.
Yes.
I have an import license for 1,000 cars.
1,000 cars?
Yes. And it could be yours if you can pay the right price.
But don't you want to use it yourself?
Okay. I am not a car dealer.
Then how did you get it and I couldn't?
The right connection and the right party card.
I have got the right connections too.
But you haven't got what I have.
The right connection and the right party card. Party. As far back as party. Plus what she has as a lady. Nonsense.
I've got to give.
How much do you want for your import license?
1,000 naira for every car.
That will be 1 million naira.
Maybe you can add it to the price of your car. Anyway, here is my car.
You see why it is you, the common man, that suffers it. What did she say? Of course, she was given license to go and sell. How did she get a license? She's not an importer. And so she's going to sell the license, to the man, to the one who is the importer. And so every car that he sells, she's going to get additional money, meaning that if he imported a car and the price declaring everything is about 100 naira or 150, she's going to add another 200 naira for this man that she got the 1,000 naira for the man that gave her the license. And at the end of the day, you'll be wondering why the price is so high in Nigeria. Why is the price so high in Nigeria? Because there are so many people that are feeding on just one product, on just that license. You see, there was a time people go to Cotonou, to Togo to clear their vehicles, import, and then drive it through. That's how also this border business, the importation through the land border, also started thriving. Because as you can see for yourself the dilemma. Honestly, I think I need to stop this here. I need to stop this here. Um, I think we need to continue this conversation. I don't want to stay longer than this, but I'll just try to take you through the journey of how Nigeria, how we got to where we are today. And then remember how it started. You don't want to be part of the protest, you don't want to be part of the people speaking out, and all you do is to go and gather and pray. And we've been praying since 1960 till date. What baffles me, or what surprises me the most, is that the same situation, like the same attitude. So our problem lies in us. We are the problems. Nigerians are the problems of Nigeria. From this documentary, it means our problem is us. Can you imagine? So when this lady saw this whole development, she started creating the awareness, trying to let Nigerians see what is happening, trying to let Nigerians see what their leaders are doing. And you know what? The same problem of the same ethnic tribalism has been on. What happened in 1966? The young men that were passionate about Nigeria, okay, and then conducted that coup, and then it happened when the people wanted to
destroy their aim. They just brought in tribe. Immediately they divided, oh, this is Igbo coup. Omo Igbo is Igbo man that caused this coup, this and that. And that's how the civil war broke in, because they took it as an Igbo coup. Meanwhile, if you go, you will see so many people that were, you know, part of that coup, young soldiers that were passionate about Nigeria. It's just like today again, when people wanted to come out and protest, immediately they brought tribe. Ah, Igbo people want to destroy Lagos. Igbo people want to come to Lagos and be protesting. Igbo brought tribe and disorganized you, the common man. And this is how you've been held hostage for a number of years, generation after generation. This same song, tribe, tribe, is the same thing. So what does that tell you? I'll continue this conversation in part 2 of this video. And I want to thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do me a favor by doing so right now. And don't forget to drop your comment in the comment section. This conversation will continue. It's been a long time I came live. All right. This conversation will definitely continue no matter the number of people that are on board with me. I think this is a legacy I need to leave. Onyeka Onwenu, when she had this documentary, it wasn't popular, but today she's gone, she's being remembered. So I think it's very important, okay, that you too be part of this conversation for the sake of posterity. Let it be known that you said something, even if you can't do something, say something. So I'm going to see you again in the next video. And for now, I will say, please bear with me. I couldn't finish that documentary, but you can also go to Onyeka Onwenu's um, YouTube channel and watch the rest of it. And we come back here for more robust conversation. I'll see you again in my next video. Ciao, ciao, ciao.